Teacher, Let Your Light Shine community, this is going to be a breath of fresh air as we welcome a very special guest who has made such a positive impact on my own life, not just as a mom, but also as a teacher and as an entrepreneur. Welcome to the Teacher, Let Your Light Shine podcast. I, Mackenzie Oliver, am a former classroom teacher turned micro school founder, and today it is my absolute joy of interviewing Mrs. Lisa Woodruff, the founder and CEO of Organize 365. Lisa is a former educator who transformed her natural gift for teaching and organization into a thriving business that helps thousands of women, educators, and entrepreneurs take control of their paper, their homes, and their lives. She's the author of multiple books, including The Paper Solution, How ADHD Affects Home Organization, and Organization is a Learnable Skill. Through her podcast, courses, and programs, Lisa has helped countless women move from overwhelm into order, not through perfection, but through purpose and progress. Today, we're diving into what it looks like to organize your home, your work, and your dreams so you can lead with clarity and confidence both in your life and your business. Hey friends, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about something that has been an absolute game changer for hundreds of micro school and homeschool hybrid founders. Our Teacher Let Your Light Shine online store, a place for founders' favorites. Inside you'll find our beloved bestsellers like the Business Bundle, packed with everything you need to launch and run your school, contracts, enrollment forms, parent partnership letters, and marketing materials that save you hours of stress. Teachers and parents just like you are saying these tools gave them clarity, confidence, and a clear path forward when starting their schools. Whether you're brand new or you're ready to grow, our resources are designed to help you skip the overwhelm and focus on what really matters most, like our open house playbook, our financial review preparation sheet, templates for Facebook and email marketing, how to create the perfect planning day guide, finding curriculum clarity workbook, our new course, Micro School Marketing Blueprint, all the information for legal clarity for beginners, and, of course, the yearly membership to Micro School Masterminds. Head over to teachersletyourlightshine.com/shop. Again, teachersletyourlightshine.com/shop. Skip the overwhelm and focus on what matters most, your students, your mission, and your vision. teachersletyourlightshine.com/shop. Go there today and grab tools that will help you shine. Lisa, so many of our listeners are teachers, parents, micro school founders who feel pulled in 100 directions. You are going to be the very first guest on the Teacher Let Your Light Shine podcast who is not building a micro school, but you have built something just as grandiose. You were once in that same place. You were teaching, raising kids, and trying to keep it all together. How did you go from classroom teacher to founder of a global organization like Organize 365? We cannot wait to hear. Welcome to the show, Lisa.
Thank you so much for having me. As you know, whenever I get introduced and people go through all these long lists of the things that you've accomplished, I just want to stop for a second. And I want every single person who's listening to make that list for yourself. I'm just older than you. I'm in my 50s. So especially as women and teachers, oh my goodness, you are uber capable of like everything. Like as a woman, we wear multiple hats, but as a teacher, you literally do everything with no resources whatsoever. And you're really good at a lot of things. So it's hard to pick out what you're great at because you're good at so many things. So yes, I have authored self-published and traditionally published books, but as teachers, you literally create content and curriculum every single day of your life. So having a business, like as a teacher, creating blogs, creating a podcast, people are like, oh my gosh, how do you record so many? I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I not record more? Like as teachers, we just create content all of the time. And so a lot of our natural gifting lends itself to being an entrepreneur. So I just want to start by saying, we, especially as women, downplay the things we are good at and excellent at because, oh, well, anybody can do it. And especially as teachers, oh my goodness, we are so capable of so many things and we just don't really realize it. So I grew up in a family of entrepreneurs. I'm the fourth generation female college graduate and the fourth woman that has a college degree to start my own business from scratch. So, like,
Wow.
that's just like how I grew up. I went to school, but my mom started and then sold a business out of our basement while I was in elementary school. So I literally just watched that happen. So as an entrepreneurial family, as a micro school, as a teacher, as a homeschooler, like your kids are catching as much as you are teaching, and the environments you're putting them in are really setting them up for success as adults. So I think that's why I am the way I am, is because even though I went to traditional school, my mother was not traditional. She was an entrepreneur.
She was.
Mhm.
Yes. And I love hearing the stories from your childhood growing up. You do such a wonderful job on your podcast, really weaving in all of the history of you as a child and really how it has shaped you into who you are today. What actually was that defining moment? You speak a lot about this on your podcast where you really wanted to make a change. You were a teacher and you were raising children. What really m led you to this incredible skill set that you are providing to other people?
I think it's probably the same as everyone else who's decided to start a micro school. Like, you can do a lot of things for a long time, and you can just keep adding on more hats and more things that you're going to do until you get to the point where it's going to affect your children. And then you're like, okay, it's going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to take the kids out of the school. I'm going to start my own school. I'm going to homeschool. I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to deal with all the looks and the behind my back comments from the family and the community of like, I'm crazy and, all these things. And so you get to the point, it's usually your children because you will keep doing whatever to save face, to be who everybody wants you to be. But when I was turning 40, my children were suffering because I wasn't a stay-at-home mom anymore, even though they were in full-time school. And I didn't end up homeschooling them. I ended up just coming home from teaching so that I would be available for all their doctor's appointments, available to drive them places, and available to reestablish the order in our household that we had lost because I'd gone back to teaching because we needed the money, but it wasn't enough money. We were going in more in debt anyway. And I always knew, like, even from a young child, I always knew that I would have my own business. And I tried things, direct sales, things along the side. One year I had like 7 Schedule Cs on my tax return because I was doing in multiple direct sales companies and cleaning houses and tutoring and, you know how we do all those things. And I was turning 40. And you guys, if you haven't turned 40 yet, it is like such a pivotal year. My book next year coming out is really going to describe how we all feel at the age of 39 and then what it looks like to walk through our 40s and really claim our lives for ourselves, #adult for ourselves, pull ourselves out of the quicksand and put our own oxygen mask on. Nobody explains what that is. But for me, it was being in control of the income I was going to earn and
Mm.
not worrying about if I was or wasn't going to get a bonus, if I could or couldn't call off work. And I ended up after that putting my kids in 2 different schools and at the end homeschooling one of the children and not the other ones. Entrepreneurialism and stepping outside of mainstream, I was already outside of mainstream anyway, gave me the permission and the freedom to really do what was best for my kids, myself, and my husband first. And for many, many years, that's the only decisions I made. Is this the best decision for my kids? Will it work for me? Will it work for my husband? Okay, it's a triple win. We're going to do it. And I didn't worry about anybody else. And I don't know if you've been there, but maybe some of your listeners have. When your kids struggle and they don't do sports, you lose all your friends because your
Yeah.
friends become your kids' friends when they're in preschool and everything. Well, if your kids aren't participating in things and they have a lot of doctor's appointments and other things you need to do, you become very closed off from the world. And if your family doesn't necessarily agree with what you're doing or they think that you're overreacting, you get closed off from your family. And that's kind of where I was when I turned 40. I didn't really have a lot of friends. I didn't really have a lot of family. I was overweight. I was depressed. I was just not in a really good place. And these women who are entrepreneurs and go to college live a long time. Like they live into their 90s or 100. And I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot live this way for another 60 years. So I just started thinking, like, well, I've got to rewrite my story. I can't rely on somebody else to save me. I'm going to have to do it myself. And so I just started a blog because I knew I could write content because I was a teacher. And I just
Mm.
started to talk about organizing. I was like, what is the one thing I could talk about for the rest of my life and never get bored? And I was like, organizing. And then the book you mentioned, Organization is a Learnable Skill. That is the story of how, in that first year of getting started, how I went from broke and unemployed because I quit my job to replacing my teaching salary and getting my house, functionally organized by the end of the year.
Thank you so much for sharing that story. I have heard your story hundreds of times.
I know
And
I
I
tell it a
tell
lot.
you, every time you tell it, there's some golden nugget, different perspective that I've heard. And I believe whenever you said if your children are struggling, I know predominantly everyone who is listening to this podcast is going, yes, I understand that. Or if they themselves are struggling, yes, they understand that. They know children who are struggling. They know what it's like to sit across the table of a parent who is struggling. In addition to if your students your children do not play sports. I can definitely see how that is it's a huge barrier to building a community, and I think it is really excellent. A phrase that you always use is to do what you are uniquely gifted and talented to do, and that is exactly what you pursued when you decided to take control and ownership and agency over your life.
Yeah, and I think just to be blunt, I mean, traditional school isn't serving anybody right now. I
I
think
know.
even traditional teachers know that because the requirements put on them, put on the administration, put on the state, put on the federal, like it's untenable. It needs to be more individualized and it's not training children for where they will go when they graduate. Everybody knows this. We just don't know what to do about it. Your
I know.
audience is taking the first steps to do things about it, and everybody is going to be following the path. So I think there really aren't any parents left that aren't in this situation. When it was me, 14 years ago, it wasn't the same as it is today. But today, I think most parents, I have grandchildren and I'm already thinking like, what are we going to do? Luckily this week, he's starting Montessori. So I'm very happy with the Montessori school. And I believe that's going to be the best solution for us. But, if I could, I would homeschool him. And to be honest, I might, you never know. You
You
never
just
know.
never know. And I believe that you have that in you as well. And I have definitely been listening to your thoughts about Montessori. I've really been enjoying the past couple of episodes where you were talking about Greenfield Village. And I know if people will go back just a few episodes into your podcast, Organize 365, they will listen to you share a little bit of a history lesson and the way that education was set up. Would you like to kind of go into that a little bit? You also have been talking about Marie Montessori and education and how all of these women have inspired so many different inventions and philosophies that have
Yeah.
really changed our world.
Well, I mean, we're teachers, right?
Mm.
So, one of the, I think, the travesties of life is that you take all your field trips when you're in elementary school and you don't remember them and everything. So, one of the things I've been doing, I've been pursuing a PhD, and as I get different breaks, I am giving myself adult field trips. So, I've taken myself on different places. Like I went back to the presidential homes that I saw when I was in 8th grade that I didn't even remember. And one of these field trips was to Greenfield Village, which is in, I think it's Dearborn, Michigan, wherever Henry Ford is from. And so I learned all about Henry Ford. There's an awesome museum there as well. But Greenfield Village is all these houses and buildings that were from all over the United States that Henry Ford literally moved to Michigan. So I'm from Ohio. The Wright brothers bike shop from Dayton, Ohio is up in Greenfield Village. I'm from Akron, Ohio. The Firestone farm for Firestone tires is in Greenfield Village because Henry Ford and Firestone were really good friends. All of Edison's labs and those things are in Greenfield Village. And you walk around this village, it's all of these different buildings that were there, but it was created as a school. I didn't know that till I got there. And yeah, it was created by Ford, but Edison had a big play in it. And it was created as a innovation school, and random children from the city got to go there in really small classrooms, and they learned in all these different innovation labs. It's so cool. And I guess there still
Yes.
is a component of that going on today, someone told me.
Yes, and I believe that is really the people that are listening to this podcast, these are what teachers are building right now, these little innovative labs, schools.
Mhm.
One vision that we have for Lighthouse Learning is that we would own 7 acres of land. We'll have a tiny house for every single grade level. The kids will learn their housekeeping skills in the little tiny houses. They'll learn how to iron and take care of the plants and wash the dishes, and then run outside and play for a little bit, earn a trade if they want to become a fireman, if they want to become an electrician, and then they can run back in their little house and they do their self-paced learning. And it really is just a community in such a way that is unique. And I was so inspired whenever you shared that story. I also am very inspired by the work that you do to help us all understand about being a household manager.
Mm.
And you gave me such permission, Lisa, something that really has helped me out a lot. My husband and I, we have a very great relationship. He works full time at our micro school. He left corporate America to support Lighthouse Learning. He is an amazing support, but household management, the way that I do household management, it's not his strong suit. He takes care of a lot of projects around the house, but the bills, the finances, the paperwork, that is definitely my responsibility. And it's because I've taken it on. And you gave me permission. You're like, you are the household manager. And you give a lot of statistics about women as household managers. You also have been able to, share your own stories of your husband, Greg, who you adore, and how he does certain things and you do certain things, and you are not mad at him. You are not throwing a fit that he doesn't do certain things. And I believe that whenever you spoke about divorce and I really want you to share that with our listeners about the travesty of the home being broken when, so many women feel perplexed, overworked, overwhelmed, and they're mad at their husbands because they're not taking on as much responsibility.
Yeah, so this is why I'm getting a PhD. I do not need to get a PhD. I'm totally getting one because I want to, which
Yes.
is weird. I'm just general. You should just say, "Here's Lisa," and she's weird. Like, and then everything else, I could just say what I want to say. So when I started Organize 365, I used to be an organized child, and my house was a complete wreck. And so I knew I had to organize it, and I was creating a blog. So I was like, "Well, I know how to create content for a blog. Snap a picture, type out what you just did." That's what I did the first year. While I was doing that, I became an in-home professional organizer. Well, that makes really good money. So it was like $50 an hour by the end of the year. I was like, "Well, this is great money." So I was making that money. Then 3 years in, I stopped blogging. The blog doesn't exist anymore. I started a podcast specifically because as a teacher, I don't want you looking at my kitchen when I'm talking about a kitchen. I want you thinking about your kitchen. So you're not evaluating your kitchen based on aesthetics. You're evaluating it based on function. So that's why I started a blog. Well, along the way, when you do, as a teacher, when you dive into anything for multiple years, well, you get done. Like I'm done organizing. I'm done going through, creating the course to help you get organized. But I'm going to work until I'm at least 80. So I'm
Yeah.
working another 27 more years. So I'm like, well, I've got to go deeper. I've got to go deeper. Well, as I was getting deeper and deeper into home organization, I decided to do an academic study, like let's find out, like what kinds of housework there is. I knew nothing about academia. Now I know too much about academia, but I went to do a study and I did it with a marketing firm. And someone in my audience reached out to me and they said, okay, if you're going to put the money in this, you might as well have it be academic so we can publish it. So she offered as a PhD to help me write it. And as we were getting ready to do our research, we had to operationally define everything inside of our paper. Like I'm working on my dissertation today and I have to operationally define anxiety. And I'm like, anxiety. But you have to figure out how do you define it. So when we were doing this study, we were defining all the words. And I said, well, how did you define housework? She's like, housework. I'm like, no, we had to define all these other words. We have to define housework. Mackenzie, there's no definition of housework. There are thousands of studies that have been done, and no one has ever defined housework. As a matter of fact, there are studies that state we have not defined housework. So my
Wow.
research practicum, I defined housework based on what the American population says, and they define it as only three things: food-related tasks, cleaning, and laundry, period. All these other things that we're talking about, bill pay, that's not housework. It's household administration. But academia doesn't even test household administration. Academia has zero studies on home organization. Hoarding, yes. Regular organization, no. Which is why I
Mm,
just did the podcast about Lillian Gilbreth, who was an efficiency expert. And when we were
yes.
talking about being an efficiency expert, there are efficiency studies in the home, there are economic studies in the home, but not like home organization. It's like not a thing academia does. So, anyways, back to what you were saying. Once I realized that like academia isn't focusing on this at all, and you have to go all the way back to Lillian Gilbreth to have a psychologist or a PhD who was looking at how we function in our homes from a functional level. I was like, well, I could become $1 billion business like Martha Stewart. It's not going to matter. When she dies, nothing Martha Stewart did is in academia. But when
Mm,
you get a PhD and you publish studies, they're referenced for eternity. And I was like,
oh,
ooh, I could have a much more significant impact on households by getting a PhD and then doing research studies that are more normal. Sorry. Because I'm going to
no,
pay
I
for I
love
mean, I don't
that.
need to get a grant. I'm paying for it myself, so nobody can stop me. They can
Right.
stop me from publishing, but also I'm going to pay to have it published. So you have to be accepted into a journal to have your article published, but it goes behind a paywall. So you have to pay another $3,600 in order to open source. So not only will I not get paid to publish my research, and I won't use a grant to do my research, I will then pay so that other people can read my research so it can get out there. This is how committed I am.
But this is
And the
the legacy that you're gonna be leaving. Thank you,
yes,
Lisa.
this is what
Thank
I'm going after.
you, Lisa, and thank you because
Oh,
you've been saying that I've heard you say that you don't have to get your PhD,
right,
and same thing for me as well. I don't have to
right.
get my
Start at
PhD,
school.
but I'm really interested in it, and I'm just wondering, wow, is that really the
So much work.
invisible it is so much work, but is that the invisible drive that now I can kind of substantiate what if or somebody's gotta do the academia about
Right.
microschooling and alternative education, so
But
thank
you
you for sharing.
you probably have PhDs in your audience that could do that along with you, especially if you wanted to fund it
Of
because they're
course.
looking for funding. So what I found was what has happened in academia, and this is not dig on academia, and this is it's not that this didn't need to happen. So what happened at the end of World War II is that the GIs came home and the women who were working in everything were sent home so that the men could have jobs. Now, to be clear, women were working in industry for decades. It wasn't just during the war. I thought it was just during the war. No, they've been working in industry since like the early 1900s. So all the women were sent home simultaneously. The big box retailers like Kellogg's started marketing to these women and they created the modern day housewife. She didn't exist before the baby boomers. It wasn't even a thing. And because TV came out at the same time, it was all a media propaganda. Now, I personally never got pregnant, and I would have given anything to be barefoot and pregnant and a stay at home mom. That has been my entire desire for my lifetime. That's why I want to go home and homeschool my grandchild. I'm very pro stay at home mom, barefoot pregnant woman.
Oh,
However, these women all got sent home. They didn't necessarily want to be sent home and or weren't married or didn't have spouses. And it became really, really hard for women to even keep the rights they had, let alone get more parity. And so because of that, psychologists moved to amplifying the plight of women, advocating for equal rights, making made known that women are doing more at home than men are. So they have this first job and then this second job. It was really just this amplification of this, lived experience that they were all having. And looking back on it now, we can have our preconceived notions from, living in 2025, but you have to go back to 1950s. That's 75 years worth of we moved from a efficiency economics focus on the household to a women's rights issue on the household. And that's where we have been for the last 75 years.
yes.
Personally, my personal view on that is there's a lot of work everybody has to do that they don't want to do. My husband doesn't want to go to his regular job where we get health care, but he goes. And I don't
Right.
want to clean the toilets, but I do. So it's not like everybody likes doing what they do. But women really are well equipped to run households. They really are well equipped to multitask, even though they say that's not a thing. Men are not. And I don't know what the science behind it is, but like they are linear thinkers. Let me just tell you. I don't remember who says that women have spaghetti brain and men have waffles and they've got little, yeah, for sure. They for sure do.
Right.
Because I can be taking care of my grandchild, talking to my daughter, and seeing what my husband's doing, and then answer him while I'm still answering her. And he's like, "You're not paying attention to me." I'm like, "I know everything that's going on here and at work and everywhere else. What do you want to know? I
Mm,
know it all." Like, women
yeah.
have this ability to do all of these things. And so this argument for the last 50 years at least has been a he said, she said. Like, if we could get men to do more, then women could be who they're uniquely gifted and created to be outside of the home, basically, summed up in a nutshell. And my argument is I can do both. Like, I
Mm,
can succeed at home and at work. Now, I abdicated my role of food. I haven't been to a grocery store in like a decade. My
mm,
husband has to do that because I'm going to do whatever. But I do all the invisible work still. I do all the planning. I know a lot of women who own really, really big businesses and they do all the planning. I know women who travel half the year and they do all the planning for the household, even though they're not even
yes.
there because
Yes.
we're just really good at it. So instead of trying to eliminate it or make it equal, let's just support it. Like, let's support that role that women have. Let's make it easier. Let's make it more visible. That's what I want to do. And let's get better
Yes.
efficiencies back again. For crying out loud, we had such great efficiencies in 1944 going into 1950, and then we lost so many of these awesome household efficiencies that Lillian Gilbreth was creating.
Yes, and I appreciated that episode as well because my daughter, she is interested in going into she is a gifted learner and she has been really fighting just the public school system over the past few years because I think she was really bored and it was definitely another reason why I had wanted to start a micro school. She actually did start with us. She then went back into traditional schooling, but we've paid the price for that. We definitely have paid the price for her to be there, but listening to that podcast episode and hearing Lillian and the all of the incredible ways that she did provide efficiency and in the kitchen, that alone. And I thought, Jalen, you want to learn this trade to become an electrician? This is what Lillian did. She actually helped in so many aspects. This is what you could
Yes.
be doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, your work has definitely helped so many women realize that organization isn't about perfection. And I'll be honest, I have my Sunday basket here, and I went to the beach with my family. I had my Sunday basket. I, like everybody, you know the story, Lisa. Everybody says I tried to make my own Sunday basket out of random materials.
Yeah.
That worked for about 6 months. By the time, and this is true, by the time I spent so much money trying to make my own Sunday basket, I could have purchased 3 Sunday baskets from you.
Yeah. I know. But we're teachers. Teachers are the worst. We're the best
We
and we're the worst
are.
because we can do almost anything. So we'll be like, yeah, I'll save 5 cents by doing this thing. Like, oh my gosh, we constantly cost ourselves so much time
We do.
because we won't spend money. We're
I'm
the worst.
thinking, yes, I'm thinking, okay, before I had this system in place, people would say or describe me as an organized person, but I never felt it, Lisa. I never felt that I was truly organized, especially about 10 years ago as my children were younger. I lost so many important documents. I would just have a panic attack pretty much when somebody would ask me for a specific paper. I don't know if it was the teachers and we love papers. I don't know if I filed my papers in my school file cabinet. I don't know where the papers went. And up until this moment, even though people said that I was organized, I personally never felt it. And I don't know what I did with all of my paper before I met you. And I love printing out my emails because of you. And I have so many papers and I know where they are. I'm writing a grant right now. It's due tomorrow. And they said I had to upload a letter of determination from the IRS and immediately post-traumatic stress disorder came over me. Where is that
Yes.
paper? Where is that paper? And then I was like, my binder. I put it in my binder. And I went and I opened up my binder because you talk about the difference in the baskets and the binders. And I even put on my binder, never throw this away. Never lose this. Put it in a sheet protector. Don't ever lose this. And every time I have a victory like that, I'm always like, "Thank God. Thank you, God, for Lisa. Thank you."
Aw.
It really lowers so much anxiety and gives you so much freedom and mental clarity. I want you to share these life-changing visible products that you have made to help make our work invisible, and I have used that. We've gotta make the
Yes.
invisible
Gotta
visible.
make it visible. Gotta make it
Yes, thank
visible.
you for that.
So I love what you said there, and I think everyone should really listen to that again. Organization is a feeling because
Mm,
what we are sold is an aesthetic. We are
mm,
told to be organized is the Container Store, is that, aspirational area in Target. And that's true. Like it's fun. It's totally fun to rainbow your books. Mine are all rainbowed because I think that's really fun.
mhm.
Also, I'm a visual person. So if you give me the title of a book that I own, I could tell you what color it is because I
Yeah,
memorize by color. If you don't do that, you should not rainbow color your books. You'll never find them again. See what I'm
right.
saying? Like one
Mhm.
system doesn't necessarily work for the other, even though it is looks beautiful. And I'm all about looking beautiful. I don't really have many things that look beautiful, but I mean, it'd be great if I did. But to be truly organized means that you know where everything is. That's the definition of organization, is you know where things are and you can find it. Period. End of story. And it is a feeling. Like when you know where your paper is, because you're playing adult go fish for the rest of your life.
Yeah,
I would like this. And you're like, oh, do I have it? How many cards do I have to draw to get
right.
the paper that I need to give you? And so it is kind of like we feel like we're constantly having a final exam. Where's this paper? What's this answer? What's this thing? You're like, I don't know. I don't know. Leave me alone. And so it could be I used to do file cabinets all the time. And I would even organize people's houses with color coded file cabinets, and they didn't work. Nobody knew what was in there. Nobody knew where to put things. Nobody knew where to find things. So the systems that I've created are kindergarten simple because I was a preschool kindergarten teacher and they're color coded. And when I think about creating your own Sunday basket versus buying the organized 365 Sunday basket, which of course you can do,
Yeah,
if you're going to teach your students something in your school, do you buy the math manipulatives or do you make the math manipulatives yourself? We always buy them, right? We
yes.
buy all the different math manipulatives, even though as soon as your student, if you're homeschooling, your student or couple of kids learn that skill, that 50, 100, $200 you don't need anymore. You'll donate it to somebody else. But we spend all kinds of money on school supplies for children. And then as adults, we're like, pretty sure you can get by with 3 pairs of underwear, no office supplies, and, printing everything out off of your computer instead of buying workbooks. Like we just don't give ourselves any school supply money to run our entire households and our life. It's ridiculous. I've talked to so many
Right.
schools about this. We have a teacher workbox. And I mean, I've talked to so many administrators. I'm like, you the school supply list for the students to go into the classroom is X amount of dollars. How much money do the adults get to organize their school supplies? $0 in every single
Mm,
school system. So where I created the Sunday basket, let's start with the Sunday basket. The Sunday basket is a box. It has a divider in it. And the divider is so that the slash pockets stand upright. How many times have you put something in a box and then it slides down? It's annoying. So they stand upright. And it has 25 colored binder dividers in there. I call them slash pockets. They're like the 3-hole punch binder inserts that you put into a binder that have tabs on the end. And I manufacture them myself. So all 5 are the same color. So you have 5 pink, 5 purple, 5 blue, and 5 green. And they have one
and you
set
can't get
that's
them off
rainbow.
Amazon. I
You
mean,
can't because I
you can
manufacture
purchase.
them.
That's right. But if you are trying to go an alternative route and you're trying to find 5 blue slash
You
pockets,
can't.
guess what the problem is? They're
They
just
don't exist.
all on the right side. The little
Yeah,
tabs
they
are all
don't
on the
exist
right. They
because you know
don't.
what? They didn't exist. Once I thought up the system as a teacher, and I was like, okay, this system works for me. How am I going to teach you just like you would as a teacher? I'm like, okay, well, they could get 25 random colored slash pockets, but it's going to be too difficult.
It
So I
is.
need to actually manufacture them, which cost
Yeah.
a fortune. And the first order that came in was wrong. And I will tell you, I've now realized that no office supply company is going to rip me off because the office supplies in the 6 years since I've been manufacturing on my own have gone down in quality so fast and mine have risen in quality that there isn't even a comparison. Like, go ahead, get the Avery slash buckets. Mine are better. Like,
They
because
are.
they're
They're
just not putting
very
the money.
sturdy.
They're not putting the money in. And that's the best office supplies we get. So anyway, the first 5 are rainbow, and we do this every single week. But the other ones that are pink, purple, blue, green are for your projects. This is all the stuff that you're holding in your head. So the blue is related to your family. So each of my kids and my husband each have a slash pocket so I could put little ideas in there or emails or whatever. The purple are related to anything household related, anything you need to fix, anything maintenance you need to do, renovations you're going to do, any organizing projects you're doing. Green is all related to all the financial things you have going on, and pink is related to you.
Yeah.
And so I manufacture all these and I get them and I put together my own first official Sunday basket, like 12 years after I'd initially started using one. And I didn't know what to put on the pink slash pockets because I
Yes.
didn't have any goals for myself. So those pink ones at first are just a representation that, hey, hi, you're a member of this family and maybe you should have some goals. And now that's where my field trips go from. But more than just the physical product, because people are like X amount of dollars for a physical product. Well, you can't just buy kids school supplies and then just expect they're going to learn what they need to learn for the year, right? So
Mhm.
with that, the Sunday basket comes with a course where I walk you through how to set up your basket, how to go through it on a weekly basis, how to clean it out. There's also an online community where you could talk to other people who are doing their Sunday basket because it's way more fun to do something with
It is.
classmates. And then there's a weekly co-working time where someone from our team comes on for 90 minutes and they walk you through doing your Sunday basket every Sunday, especially if you need accountability to get it done. So all of those things are baked into every single thing Organize 365 has. There's a physical component, there's an education component, there's a community component, and usually there's a co-working component. And yeah, we don't have a lot of products, but the products we have don't exist in the market.
You're exactly right. I have been blessed to be able to get the Sunday basket, the Friday work box. I just love buying more and more slash pockets. If I had the most incredible office that I could design, it would be every single basket in every single color that you have, and it would be organized in rainbow fashion. I would just have an organized 365 office, that is for sure.
Ooh, I love that.
I know. My community liaison, she is a parent at our school. Her children have been going to she was our neighbor. She first started out as someone who lived in our neighborhood. Her children started coming over to our house whenever we started the school in our house. They were with us for a couple of years. We've since then moved into a church building, but she now works for us. And she saw the basket. I was talking to her about you, and we just share so many incredible ideas about motherhood and organization. She took my idea that I had from you. She made us a beautiful supply room for teachers. It's a teacher supply room, and she has all the baskets with red labels, and then all the red labels mean something, all the orange labels mean something, all the yellow labels mean something. And then she just recently purchased her own Sunday basket. And she was so elated as well as so grateful because she had a couple of questions for your customer service and they treated her with the utmost respect. And so, shout out to your customer service department. They were incredible.
Great. Well, it's the same people who run the club, so they're going to give you really good answers. You got Michelle and
Exactly.
Pat in there, and if they get overwhelmed, then the rest of the team just kind of jumps in there. It's a pretty small team, and we all know everything. So
To all my teacher friends, parents, and visionary leaders, if you are listening to this, I know you are passionate about creating a micro school or a program, a homeschool hybrid that truly shines. But let's be totally honest. Building and growing a micro school or your own program or homeschool hybrid, it isn't easy. It's not for the faint of heart. Whether you're just getting started or looking to scale, there's so much to navigate. Legalities, marketing, finances, student enrollment, location, curriculum planning. That's exactly why I created Microschool Masterminds, a community where you don't have to figure it out all alone. Inside, you'll get step-by-step guidance to launch, grow, and sustain your microschool or homeschool hybrid, access to our exclusive training modules, resources, and live coaching, and a supportive network of educators who get it because they're building their own dream schools as well. You have this dream of creating an incredible opportunity for students, for teachers, and yourself. Maybe you're in the early stages, wondering, where do I even start? Or maybe you've already taken the leap, but now you're feeling overwhelmed with marketing, enrollment, all of the planning or the finances. You're not alone, and you don't have to figure it out all by yourself. That's why Micro School Masterminds is here to help you on a month-by-month basis. That's right, it's a month-by-month membership designed to give you the support, structure, and strategy you need to actually make progress. Each month, you'll get live group coaching calls so you can ask questions, get feedback, and gain clarity on your next steps. Step-by-step training modules on legal setup, marketing, enrollment, financial planning, school operations, a private community of passionate educators who get what you're building and are right there with you, a roadmap to keep you moving forward whether you're launching or growing your school, and new resources delivered to your teacher mailbox inside our Micro School Masterminds community that are brand new every single month. And again, the best part is it's a month-to-month membership, so you can join when you're ready and staying as long as you need. Or if you're all in, grab the yearly membership and get 2 months free. This is your time. Your vision deserves a real plan, and I want to help you every step of the way. Go to teachersletyourlightshine.com/masterminds to join us today. That's teachersletyourlightshine.com/masterminds. We can't wait to see you. I would like to talk about organizing for your season of life.
Okay.
I will say that when I also appreciate your transparency. You say it will take you about 3 years to get your house organized.
Yeah.
And you've lived in the same house for almost 3 decades, correct?
Yep. Yep.
We just purchased a house about 6 months ago. We had moved from Missouri to Florida. We had been renting. Finally, we're able to buy a house that we were so in love with. And you know what is really cool, Lisa, is this home was custom built in the 1980s. And there are so many components of this house that you talk about being very functional for household managers. One being having a home office, in addition to having a home office space in the kitchen.
Yes. Yes. 80s kitchens had planning desk.
Do
A
you
Lillian
have
Gilbreth invention.
Yes. Do you have
It
one of
is.
those?
I used to. I took it out for a long counter, but when I first bought the house, it was a planning desk with a open the door pantry. So when you're looking at my kitchen, you see that big long counter that's 9 feet that has the Sunday
Yes.
basket cabinets above and below. That's where the planning desk and the pantry was.
Where is your home office now?
So my house never had a home office. I mean, I have a 2,400 square foot home. It's not too small, but it's also not very big. So they weren't built with home offices. So my home office is actually also my bedroom, which is my daughter's old bedroom.
Yes. Okay.
It's just a little desk on a wall,
And
which
I've
is
seen that before,
normal.
and it works for you. And
Yeah.
you wake up on Sundays and you spend
Yeah.
about 90 minutes organizing your Sunday basket. I really appreciate you always sharing your routines. Many of us wear multiple hats. We're educators, we're moms, business owners, we're leaders.
Mm-hmm.
How do you encourage women to organize around their season of life instead of trying to do everything at once?
So in your 20s and 30s, it's super hard because you think that life ends the day you turn 40. Once you're 40 and you realize you have a longer time horizon, then you're like, okay, well, maybe there will come a day where I'm going to actually have a lot of time. Once your oldest one is gone and you're an empty nester, you will have more time than you know what to do with. That doesn't really help you when you're younger, but I'm just going to keep saying it because I wish somebody would have told me that. Nobody told me that. And now, like, I do puzzles all the time. I'm getting a PhD and I'm an active grandparent and I'm CEOing and I'm traveling, like, and I still have more time and capacity. Like, you guys will have so much capacity. But when your kids are in grade school, it is exhausting. Like, it's exhausting. I always say if you have kids under the age of 5, you should take a nap before you do anything else because it will be more beneficial than anything you could do with that time. If the choice is to organize this or take a nap every single time, because no one's going to remember anyway, except for you.
Right.
I find that I get frustrated when I don't have enough time to do what I want to do, like organize or get a project done, because in those parenting years, make the food, clean up the food, buy the food, make the food, do the laundry, wash laundry. Like, there's nothing of consequence. I remember, I think the kids were just about into middle school, and my husband was going to do something, cut the grass, and I was supposed to do the indoor chores. And I was like, you know what? I'm cutting the grass today, and you're doing the inside chores. And he's like, what? So I cut the grass. And I loved it because for 3 days, I could tell that the grass was cut. Now, I've never cut the grass again, and I tell Greg that women don't know how to cut grass, so if you do, it's not a feminist thing, it's just I never wanna have to do it again. So
Right.
whenever he sees a woman cutting grass, I'm like, "No, that's not a woman. Women don't cut grass because I don't wanna have to cut the grass." But I remember at that moment being like, "I just wanna do something, anything that's gonna last more than 3 minutes before it gets undone and I have to do it again."
Yes.
And so what I would say if you're in that phase of life is that when you have that little pocket of energy, if you're not going to use it for a nap, treat yourself like you do your kids.
Mhm.
And what I mean by that is how many times do you clean out your kid's closet and make sure all the clothes fit? You probably do it about every 10 to 12 weeks.
Yeah.
When was the last time you cleaned out your closet?
Mhm.
Never.
I know.
I
Right.
mean, we just don't. Clean the kids' rooms every single weekend. When was the last time you cleaned your bedroom? Never. That's where we shove everything we don't want kids to see, papers we don't know what to do with, stuff that we don't want to carry down to wherever our storage is. Like our bedrooms are like hamster cages, but our kids' bedrooms, we make sure those are doing really well. Like skip your kids next weekend and do your own. Like do your storage room. Do these spaces that when you get them organized, they're going to stay organized a little bit longer and you can get some of that quiet dreaming energy. I used to love
Yes.
to organize my laundry room when my kids were little because it's right off the family room. So I was still, like in in earshot. I was still parenting, but
Mhm.
I would also turn the washing machine on when I was in there. So it was kind of like, would drown out those kids unless like they screamed
Yes.
pain or something. And it was
Right.
just like escaping. I was adjacent and I was like, okay, I'm going to organize this cabinet because you just
Mhm.
want to feel like you're getting some kind of progress somewhere.
Yes. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. I know that you do a also another fantastic job at teaching about rhythms and routines, and I really appreciate whenever we were going through the home planning day, you helping us to map out our days, map out a couple of months in advance. Would you like to share with us how you take the time of a whole year, how you break it up, and why that is so? And once you did that, I'm thinking, why am I planning my house in quartiles when that is what we do for school and we need to do something, or, that's what we do for business, but we need to do something else for our
Yeah.
family life.
Households run like schools do, 100%. Even if you don't have kids, which all of you do, but even if you don't, like for your parents, they still run like a school does because we were in school one day. We have a summer season, we have a fall season, and we have a spring season, and that's it. Like I did try to do it annually. That doesn't work. We have no idea what's going to happen more than 4 months from now. We don't even know what's going to happen 4 months from now. Or I would try to do it, on quarters. And like the end of a quarter is March 31st. What happens on April 1st other than April Fool's Day? Nothing. It's
Right.
still the same weather. It's still the same school schedule. Like there's nothing different at that point of time. So when I realized, and I think this goes back to being a teacher and doing lesson plans. Like I do my Sunday basket every week to set up my household management for success because as a teacher, we do lesson plans every week to set up our class for success. How
Mhm.
many of you have tried not doing the lesson plan for the week and going by the seat of your pants? How well does that work? It doesn't. I mean, it's noon on Monday. You're like, okay, I won't sleep Monday night to make the plan for Tuesday through Friday because it just doesn't work. You cannot
Mhm.
teach without making a plan. So the planning every week in the Sunday basket was really easy and natural. Coming up with the seasonal planning was really how I used to get ready for teaching. So I would love in July to be thinking about like, oh, it's a brand new school year and this is what I'm going to do in the fall. And here are my plans. And even if the semester ended sometime in January, I mean, you had that big long break at the end of December. That's all you planned to, right? Plus, new planners come out in January. And I would
Right.
get a new planner in July, or yeah, I would get one in July and I would plan the fall. And then over winter break, I'd get a new planner again and I'd plan through the end of the year. And then around spring break, I'd get another new planner and I would plan the summer because I love to just plan in a planner until I've done
Yeah,
about 90 to 120 days. And then, like, I don't want to see all that scribble scrabble and the stuff that I was planning further out that didn't actually materialize. I want a whole new planner. So
I
I actually
know.
was
You've
buying
given me
three
permission to
planners a
just
year.
you've given me permission to just keep
Like,
buying the planners. Why am I beating
I
myself up about it? Lisa, no.
Right! I just kept buying them over and over and over again. And so this summer, a friend and I were like, "We wanna buy a planner." Like, we just had, like, this planner energy like you couldn't believe, and it's natural. And once you realize you have planner energy in July and August, and you have it again in December, and you have it again in the late spring, when you can capitalize on the natural energy, there's actually an energy every week of the year because I've just figured out what it is.
Yes.
When you capitalize on it, you can go. So you said this is going to air probably mid-November.
Yes.
Okay. So mid-November energy, I'll just give you guys a little crystal ball.
Mhm.
Mid-November energy is we haven't had the holidays yet. They're barreling down at us like a freight train. And we have these two energies inside of our body right now. One is extreme excitement about how much fun this is going to be and all the possibilities because everything's still perfect because we haven't actually done everything yet. But we also have this huge anxiety. Will I have enough time? Will I have enough money? Will I have enough energy? Will everybody stay healthy enough? Am I going to be able to get it all done? And that is colliding right now. As you're listening to this, you're like, I have extreme excitement and extreme anxiety over the holidays. So,
Yes.
because I know that, I created the Holiday Blitz that we do the last week in October. It's still live. You guys can go find it. You download it, and I walk through in 5 days the most important things you should think about in the holidays. What are the favorite foods you're going to want to have? What decorations? And you can still do this. You're still not too late. You can still do this weekend because what happens is our excitement makes to-do lists that our bodies can't complete, and so our anxiety goes up and our happiness goes down, and then we become a witch, which is not the
Mhm.
correct holiday
Mhm.
for November and December because our excitement overrode what we were able to do, and the
Mhm.
Holiday Blitz helps you pick just a few things that you want to do, and you want to do them excellently so you can keep that excitement for yourself, just like your family's going to have in the holidays. So I've kind of figured out
Oh,
what all these energies are, and then
yes.
I back it up a couple weeks, either in a paid course or in I mean, I still give a lot of stuff away free. And I'm like,
Mhm.
here's what's coming. Here's what's coming. Here's what's coming. I'm
Yes.
the teacher. You're the student. And you're like, oh, yeah, I do need to learn this. I'm like, here's the lesson plan. Here's the lesson plan. Here's
Yes.
the lesson plan.
You do such a great job with that. Okay, I wrote this down, holiday blitz. This is very important to me. We are recording this mid-October.
Yeah.
I did the holiday blitz a version of it. I know you said you do a free component of it. There's also a
Yeah.
paid component, correct?
Yes. So,
Take
yeah,
you
I
through.
think the paid will have already happened by the time that you come through. You don't need the paid component. Just the free one is fine. What the free
Well,
one
I'm
does
getting the
is,
paid one because
well,
I want to go
you're
all
an
in.
A
It's the
plus,
first time
Mackenzie.
I've done this.
I don't like to create anxiety for people who are like, "Oh, shoot, she said the paid one, it's already gone." Like, I
Okay.
hate selling through FOMO. I hate having a deadline or a countdown timer. I mean, I know it works, but I just don't like selling that way because we as women have enough stress. I don't need you to come to me
Yes.
and get more stress. So what I'm saying to you, Mackenzie, you should be in it. Everybody
Okay.
else who's just hearing this, you've got a couple more weeks to just get the free download and it'll come out next year as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have you think about now and ask your family now before you get out the boxes of holiday decorations. What do they remember? What do they like to see? Because
Yes.
what I found out was 80% of what I did, my family didn't even remember that I did. So you know what I did that year? I didn't put it up. And I thought
Mhm.
for sure they're gonna be like, hey, where's this? Where's that? No, never. They didn't at all. They like Christmas lights and trees. That's it.
Yes.
Everything else I stopped doing. Food, it wasn't even about the food on the day. It was the appetizers and the cocoa bar and all these other things. I was like, I
Mm.
forgot we need appetizers and fun foods on days that aren't the holidays. Like it's the gotcha moments where in the moment you're like, I should have known this, but you
Yes.
don't.
I am so grateful that you refreshed my memory about the holiday blitz because I did this last year and it was also the first year that I had had a Sunday basket. So those two simultaneously were so helpful and I did the free version. I am so grateful for that. And thank you for telling me that I don't have to go do the paid version. You're right. I That's another thing that I like about you, Lisa. You don't do this whole FOMO thing and
I
you're very
don't.
generous. But the holiday blitz, this is the first time I'm gonna be hosting my family for Thanksgiving, but I'm grateful that you reminded me so that I can start gaining some insight now. There's two really important components that you just mentioned. I want to make sure that I hit on this. It's about planning. And this past weekend, in preparing for this episode and just having self awareness for myself and having planned out so many projects for our school, and
Mhm.
having a team of people to help me with that and parent volunteers, but also so many projects that I'm planning for my daughter who's launching. I know about the launch binder that you have set up as well. So she's launching and it's her senior year. So I'm preparing and planning for that. It's also the holidays that we're preparing for. It's having moved into a new house. And I just felt planning fatigue. And I love planning, but it was really real, and have you ever felt that? And do you have any insight for us when we feel planning fatigue?
Okay, this is gonna be new. You've never heard this before.
No.
You ready?
I know.
So I am not feeling planning fatigue, but I'm feeling commitment overwhelm. Let's say that. Like I've
Yeah.
overcommitted myself and there's no opting out and I still really want all the things. So I still really want to get the PhD and the dissertation is not done. This people who get a PhD all but done dissertation thing, I totally understand it now because to get a dissertation, you have to push your chair, you have to push yourself, you have to figure out things they're not telling you. It's a real mind game. So I'm
Mhm.
doing that. My daughter is pregnant with another baby.
Yeah.
Definitely will be early and possibly will be very early. And while that, the baby, I'm sure will be healthy and we will pray for that. But I just had the realization the other day that I'm the spouse because she's a
Right.
single mom and her son, who's 4, let's say she ends up on a hospital bed rest, good possibility. And the baby is early, good possibility. Guess who's watching the 4-year-old 24/7?
Right.
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 Okay. So that's, and obviously want to do that. I
Mhm.
run a company, so I'm a CEO of a
Yes.
company. We need to have the company going, and then on and on and on. So I have to do the podcasts. I've never missed a podcast in 13 years or something like that. And I don't want to start missing podcasts now when the new baby comes. And there was something else on my list. So I literally planned out the next 8 weeks. I'm hoping she makes it 8 weeks, but I'm now like, if I only make it 3 weeks, and I'm always asking myself, if I have to step in as the dad of the child, right now,
Right.
like what things are going to fall off. And there's a lot of things that can't fall off. I'm also where Thanksgiving and Christmas are coming from. So, like, all of it's going to happen, but I could do that with Grayson. So,
Mhm.
Grayson's my grandson's name. So, I look at all of the things I have to do. Then I look at all the time I have available to me. And then I look at the energy I need and the focus I need in order to do the thing for that thing. So, like the PhD, I'm doing it right now today. The PhD is done on Thursdays when no one else is in the office so that I don't distract myself with them, other than my son, who I hear around the corner. And I will focus on the PhD and I can work late. I will work late now more knowing that I can't in a couple of weeks.
Mhm.
Second, I will only do one thing on day. I'll do the dissertation or, oh, I'm also writing a book, or I'll work on writing the book and that's due in 2 weeks. I'm writing on the book, or I'll do the podcast, or I'll do, you see what I'm saying? I'll do whatever.
Right.
So when I only am doing one of those things on one day, let's say you're going to focus just on your daughter's graduation on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, you're going to focus on the new house, and then Friday, you're going to focus on your role at the school. So going to bed Tuesday night, I start thinking about Wednesday. Okay, you're going to think about your daughter's senior graduation. I do a
Mm.
brain dump. Here are all the things I want to do between now and when she graduates. I want to make a scrapbook. I got to do the party. Got to do invitations. We got to do the photos. Then I look, then I go, okay, what of these things can I get done tomorrow? And I do them in a perfect order so that I don't waste time tomorrow making decisions.
I love
And
it.
I get up in the morning and I call or make anything that involves another person I start with first, get on their calendar, get on their schedule, whatever. And then I do my thing. Now, what will happen is your energy will start to wane. Sorry, this is a long answer, but I've just
No,
done this
I've
myself. Okay.
no, it's so good.
So,
So
so
good.
let's say you've blocked out 3 hours to do this. You call all the people. You've got like half an hour left. You're like, oh, good. This stuff can wait. I'm going to move on, and I'm going to take this half an hour for something else. You're not allowed. You're not allowed. You have to put in the extra half hour on your daughter's graduation. So you're going to have to go back to that list and pick something off that's a little bit harder that you don't want to do or don't know how to do or haven't figured out yet and get it done. You aren't allowed to give any of that time back to something else because it's going to create a future problem for you because you don't have enough time.
That's
When
right.
12 o'clock comes, then you're allowed to move on to the next thing. So my time buckets, I have to. So like for the PhD, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go through this part. When that's done, I'm literally going to write the acknowledgments. I haven't even got my proposal done, but it's something I know I can do. Like anything I know I can do, I have to keep doing so
Oh,
that
good.
I'm not leaving it to the future. So
Mm.
then when you get done with that night, I can't remember what I told you, your house maybe was going to be Thursday. So
Yes.
then Thursday night, you brain dump all the possible things that are left and you've got the Sunday basket. So you've got a slash pocket now.
I
So as you
do.
have thoughts, they go in the slash pocket. Okay, you review the slash pocket. How many things can I pull out and get done in a 3-hour block of time on Thursday? Call the people, schedule them up, and then say, okay, I've got to schedule a lot of people. Okay, I know that 2 weeks from now, and you try to get everybody scheduled on that Thursday 2 weeks from now. Sometimes there was this one day I couldn't stay home and my husband had to, and I'd scheduled all the people. I had 6 people coming. He's like, how? Why are there so many people here? And I was like, because I work from an office. So I
Yes.
was going to be home. It was like the window cleaner
Yes.
plus the trash cans got done plus the ADD came by. He's like, this is
Yep.
ridiculous. I'm like, no, this is efficient. Like if I'm going to burn a day, I'm going to burn a day, baby.
That's
So,
right.
so plan it out far enough in advance. Go 3 months out and go through all your doctors, get the dentist and your breast exam and your mammogram, and get it all done on the same day. And get your hair cut. Just
Yeah.
do them all and task stack like that. So if you can, okay, I'm going to give up being the PTA president because we're leaving the school anyway. And maybe it'll be egg on my face because I'm doing it in November. Whatever, you got to save yourself. But there's nothing on my list I don't want to do. So now I have to match my energy to the day and then only focus on one of those things instead of a little bit of each day. That works better for me.
Me too. The batching mindset of if I'm
Mhm.
already in this energy, I'm already in the flow. And that probably is something that probably caught up to me because I was task switching so much throughout the week that it just feels so much better to be able to batch. And last but not least, Lisa, I appreciate your candidness in explaining to everyone. You had a very heartfelt video that came out through email. You also had a podcast episode about how you are sticking with the one thing that you are uniquely called and created to do, which is to go all in on home organization and foregoing the materials and the courses that you've done for teachers and for the Friday workbox. And as you were speaking about it, and I definitely want you to be able to explain this to our audience for what is next and how you can best support them, I was just so excited for you. I felt so encouraged by the letter that you read at the end of that episode about who is anyone to tell you that you have to do something specific when this is where you are right now. And I was so grateful because I'm kind of going through trying to let some things go as well. And you are taking a really big, courageous cut when you are cutting out some of the programs that you are having to offer. And I thought it was so brave of you because as CEOs, as founders of micro schools, as teachers, we want to do all of the things. We are taught to do all of the things. And I agree with you. If I had spent so much time having an organized classroom, having organized students in their learning materials. And then when I left teaching and I came home for just a short amount of time before we started the school, I realized I am so behind in my house. And I really desired to be strong for my family and to be a strong household manager that I didn't even know that term had even existed. But because I got so organized in my house, it has helped me immensely in my career. So thank you for that because you've really helped me and so many thousands of people realize that the most important job that you can do is to organize yourself and your family. And I believe that it has a domino effect in other areas.
Yeah, well, thank you. So as I've grown and developed Organized 365, my house has gotten organized. I got organized when my kids were in middle school. That's when I started the company. And then they graduated from college and they empty nested. My daughter and grandson, soon to be grandsons, live with us in the basement, which we call her mini apartment, which
Mm.
is her own space and she treats it as such. But we are very hands-on and supportive and support her. So I'm technically an empty nester, but my family still lives with me. But like I said, I've gotten more and more time. I've gone back and I've gotten the PhD. And over time, as I'm now in my 50s, I started the company when I was turning 40. I'm a different person than I was then. I don't have the active parenting day to day. I'm exhausted. I want to take a nap life anymore. And I'm achieving more and more and more. So I'm just telling you guys, when you get in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, it's so fun. You could do so many things. And along the way, while the audience that found me earlier was still coming along with me in my journey, they were surfacing new problems that came once their houses were organized. So it used to be like 5, 6 years ago, people would go through all these programs and they'd be like, darn you, Lisa, I have nothing left to do at home. I'm so bored. I'm so bored. And so when I came out with the Sunday Basket, I also came out with the Friday Workbox. And I'm a business coach. I've helped many people start their companies. I'm actually coaching a company that's 125 years old right now.
Oh,
I know, it's incredible. I'm like, how is
yes.
this my job? And they're having success with my little entrepreneurial, it's kind of crazy. Because we women and teachers especially are so talented. And if you can teach somebody something, then once you learn it and you teach somebody else, you see what I mean? It's endless what you
Yes.
can teach
Yes.
people.
Yes.
So I was getting really excited at these people who were starting businesses or becoming successful and profitable in their direct sales businesses. Or there was a whole school that got the education work boxes, and we did an education pilot. And I was getting a lot of creativity and teaching and new ideas out of supporting all these products that were derivatives of the Sunday basket. But what I stopped doing, and after I made the announcement to everyone and recorded it before you guys got it, and I went back and I was kind of looking at our marketing plan for next year without education work boxes, Friday work boxes, military initiatives, all these things in there. I was like, oh my God. In
Yeah.
18 months, I had only promoted the Sunday basket one time.
I know.
I had gotten so on some other train track going to some other planet about helping people organize their work. And the funny thing is, back when I started the podcast, I said, look, I'm going to stay in the home. I'm going to be the one that stays in the home and helps you get organized, because I had observed as a professional organizer that about the 5-year mark, almost every single professional organizer switches from home to work because it's so much more lucrative. It's easier on your joints. It's in an air conditioned or, climate controlled environment. You get paid top dollar. You get flown all over the place. Like, they all do it. Like, nobody stays in the home forever because it's exhausting.
Right.
And I inadvertently did it. I didn't even mean to do it. I just did it. And the audience is saying to me, like, we love this and do a mastermind and do this and do that and tell us how you do your business. And so I was doing all those things and making money doing it. So
Mhm.
saying no meant I am cutting off a huge multiple revenue streams, including recurring revenue streams, in order to
Yes.
say we are only doing the Sunday basket and the complete home organization bundle, which includes the paper solution, the productive home solution, and
Mhm.
planning days. If it's not those things, like, yes, we're going to do the kids program, we're going to do the holiday blitz, like, they're adjacent. But if it's not, like, if you're not doing it in your household and like everybody's doing it in their household, we're not doing it. Like, everybody's getting ready for the holidays, so we'll do the holiday blitz bundle. But not
Yes.
everybody's running a business. And so the results have been mixed. Of course, everybody was shocked. My team, everybody was shocked. And upon reflection, there have been two main themes. One, people have said, without your systems, I wouldn't have been able to start a business. And that is very nice. Thank you for
Mhm.
saying that. But I think you could have. There are thousands of people that help you start businesses. I do it more in a kindergarten way, so anybody can do it. But the certified organizers are still going to help you and support you in doing that. Like, the Friday workbox isn't going away. We're just not going to sell it from a corporate level. The certified organizers are going to sell it. But also, then some people started to say, but you're right. I had started following your new trajectory and your PhD and being a CEO, and I was following you and I was doing the Friday workbox, and my business is thriving. And even though you got my home organized for me, it's now disorganized because I was following your home so much. And
Mhm.
then other people said, finally, I'm retired. I don't have a business. I used to follow you for home organizing. It's hard to listen to your podcast now. I can't refer you to my family and friends because everything, or when I do, I'm like, okay, but just know, like, she's a CEO and getting PhD and she travels and she's got a grandchild. So you're gonna have to filter through all of that. But if you can filter through all of that, then she really does have a good Sunday basket system. You know what I mean? And I was like,
Yes.
oh my
Yes.
goodness. So if I were to relate that to your audience, you're starting a micro school. Is that what's called, micro school? Did I say that right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
micro school. You're probably starting that with your own kids in mind, whatever
Of
grade they are.
course.
And
Mhm.
then the kids are probably gonna graduate, and then you still have this micro school. And
Right.
so I would say a couple of things to that. One, if you love being an administrator and having a school, then keep the school. If you don't, sell it. Pass it
Mm.
off to somebody else. Just because you started it doesn't mean you have to do it forever. And the
Yes.
other thing that comes to mind, if it was me, because, like, I would totally start a school, like, for my grandkids. I could totally see me doing this. And the Montessori school we're sending our grandson to is a colleague of mine who started the school, and her kids are grown, and now her grandchildren are going to go through the school. It doesn't have to be a preschool to 12th grade school. Like,
Right.
you could find that you're really, really good at the middle school years, or you're really great at kindergarten through 3rd grade. And your school is where people go to, move from the home into school and learn all those basics of math and reading. And then in 4th grade, they find a different micro school or they find something else. So I would
Yeah.
encourage you then to think about, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. We as women just take on and on and on. And it's very rare that we step back and we go, what do we want? What is best going to serve us? Because that seems so selfish. And
Mhm.
then what is really gonna grow us? And I think that, I mean, I knew that by cutting out this product line, I'd have to replace it in selling the Sunday basket and the complete home organizing bundle, and I figured out how I would do that. Now that I've actually done it, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this company could grow so much faster because it's gonna be so much clearer what we
Yes.
do and who we help. And when people come, they're gonna get the information they need." So already we've cleaned up the website and the menus, and you're gonna start to see a lot of changes. I think we're
Mhm.
gonna get a lot more traction because 'cause I'm not trying to be everything to everyone. I'm just gonna go with this one little tiny thing that has been skipped over by society, which is school supplies for household managers, for crying out loud. There are no school supplies for household managers or classes
Ah,
for household managers. That's me.
yes, yes. Hallelujah. We love school supplies.
That's
Our
right. And
teachers,
mine
we
are
love
good.
school supplies.
Good
They are
school supplies.
so good. So good. Lisa, thank you for sharing. As you were just speaking this, I felt you speak life over me. I know that you're speaking life over so many people. I know myself, I have chosen to take on more and oh, these people need this and these students need this and these families want this
Right.
and while it has been serving people very well, and I don't just mean that with our micro school, we also have the podcast where we teach people to build their own micro schools. I have so many resources and courses and
Yeah.
micro school masterminds. It's micro school masterminds where we can meet together and we are able to support each other and pour deeper into each other because community is really where it's at. I want you to know that you are an example, Lisa, of what's possible when we take one small step toward order and freedom. And your story has given me so much hope. I know it's going to do the same for many teachers and parents and entrepreneurs who are listening today who want to feel peaceful, who want to feel purposeful, and who want to feel prepared. So, thank you so much, Lisa. Please tell our audience how they can connect with you.
Oh, thank you. Everything's Organized 365. So I'm most active on Instagram, Organized 365. I have a podcast called Organized 365, and the website is organized365.com.
Thank you. And your books are truly amazing. We can
Oh,
find
thanks.
those on Amazon.
Yep. They're also in my store. Yep. And on Amazon.
And everyone, please remember that organization is a learnable skill.
Hmm.
And when you make space for order, you truly are making space for your light to shine, for your community, for your family, and for yourself. Thank you so much, Lisa.
Thank you.